All right, everybody, welcome to another knowledge drop, our fourth one. We're super excited to have here with us Gianna from Magellan talking, walking through all things video production, which a lot of people don't know much about. So without further ado, Gianna, take it away.
All right, hey guys, my name's Gianna. I'm a cinematographer and a videographer and a video editor, currently on Remote Year Magellan in Cordoba, Argentina. So today I'm going to share some knowledge with you guys about combining two of my favorite things, which are business and video. So, what is about to drop? The intel of video. Why proper video content actually matters. The process, step by step on what you're going to need to consider before you even start production, and your results, how to evaluate the success of your content. Now, why am I dropping this? I see far too many impressive companies trying to introduce great ideas, but backed by half-baked media. Also, it can be really difficult to decode everything that goes on behind the scenes once you're already knee-deep in the chaos. And it's much more likely that your crew will deliver you quality content when you can actually tell them what you want and exactly what you have to work with before you even start shooting. So that's all great, Gianna, but what does video have to do with my business? So some of the things that you may want to consider turning into a video are an investor pitch, crowdfunding, company launch, event promotions, supporting different causes, or increasing awareness on important issues. Now that's just a few of them, but there's a long list, and if you come to me with any of your ideas, I can probably help you with a way to come up with a video to help promote it, or to just get it going. So, why video though? An average internet user spends about 17 minutes watching online video ads every month. Now, 80% of those guys recall the video that they viewed for an entire month. And online video generates over 40% more traffic to sites from their search. Finally, it's been polled that 59% of executives would rather watch video than read text. So, this is why I don't call it a side project. This is why I think it's something that requires a lot of dedication and time, and something that you don't just want to rush. Depending on how you shape your video, it can help showcase a more layered personality for your company. This may otherwise be difficult in a more formal setting or with an audience that you just don't have a connection with yet. It's also going to give you the flexibility to present your service, product, idea when you can't be there in person. You can connect across numerous platforms, demographics, backgrounds. Video is pretty much a universal language. You never know who will take a few minutes to watch a video. It's an immersive experience that can engage people into an entirely new world, and they're pretty easily digestible if you do it right. So with video, you're crafting multiple layers of the viewer's experience, from what they see to what they hear to what they read, and if you're effective enough, what they feel. All they need to do is sit back and watch. And these new connections don't just then represent themselves. They also represent each of their own networks that could help you exponentially grow into more business. So to get us started, I'm going to show you an example of a video that I worked on for Cornell Wrestling, and I'll explain its specific purpose afterwards. I'll just show you a little bit of it.
The world is full of giants. They have always been here, lumbering in the schoolyards, limping through the alleys. We had to learn how to deal with them, how to overcome them. We were small, but fast. Remember? We were like a wind appearing out of nowhere. We knew that being clever was more important than being the biggest kid in the neighborhood.
All right, so get the idea there. I'll put the full link to the video at the very end, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what production will start to look like once you go through all these different steps. So for this specific video, what are we getting at? The goals that I discussed with the team beforehand were team recruitment, current fan engagement by updating them with exciting news, season happenings, and engaging new fans. So with all of this in mind, today I'm going to walk through the process of thoughtfully planning and creating a video for your own business. So step one, you've got to answer a lot of important questions before you even get started picking up that camera. The basics. What is your company's overall mission? What are some of the goals you have? And which of those do you want to focus on with this project? You need to know your audience. What do they like? What do they want to see and hear in this video? And finally, what are the emotions that you want to evoke when people encounter your content? Once you've got those, you're going to dig a little deeper. What information do you need to tell your audience? What elements must be part of the video, such as specific concepts, details, people that need to be interviewed, topics that need to be covered? Then you've got your parameters of the projects. How long does it need to be? What kind of team do you have? When is it due? What's your budget? Are you hiring a videographer who's going to help you plan and shoot the whole thing? Or are you going to plan it before and just bring someone in day of? And then finally, and I'm going to get into this a little bit more later, it's really important to think of from the start, what's your branding strategy? Where is this content going to go? What are the landing pages? Are you going to market online, at an event? All those sorts of things. So if you can answer all of these, then you've got a solid foundation to start crafting and telling your story. Another thing to keep in mind, be realistic about your budget. If you've got a $500 budget, you can still make a great video, but you don't want to try to aim for something that ESPN would create. Or something like Dollar Shave Club, which I don't know if you guys have seen before, but I'll show you their launch video in a little bit. Depending on the budget you have, you're going to get different levels of video production. Now, as long as you manage your expectations, you should be able to use your resources wisely and get the most out of your $500, your $2,000, your $10,000, and you can just go from there. There's $1 million budget videos. But it's something you do want to consider from the beginning so that you're not spending the rest of your time backtracking and trying to cut corners. So from here, you get to start developing the creative, which is one of my favorite parts. Things that you're going to want to consider and choose are your tone and style. Do you want to be friendly, informative, inspiring, personal, serious, funny? You don't have to pick one, but you do want to know which ones that you're aiming for from the start. Then you're going to want your script. So you start hashing out exactly line by line, word for word, what you're going to cover. You might want to bring in someone to help you with this process. And then music, sound effects, I cannot stress how important these are. One, it'll shape the tone of the video, but two, you also want to know from the beginning if you need to pay for it, if you need to license it. Right now, there is a lot of copyright that you're going to need to know surrounding music and sound effects. There's a lot of free options online. Some of the better ones you can pay for. They're not that expensive. I'm happy to share some of the ones that I use as well. And then you can also bring in a professional to score your entire video for you, but that's going to be a little bit pricier. So like I said before, considering the budget that you have to work with. And then the physical elements, costumes, props, any little things that you want to use there. And from there, you're finally going to be able to craft your game plan. Ideas are great, but how are you actually going to pull this off? So the things you're going to want to identify and organize. This is your crew. Now there's a lot of people listed here, a screenwriter, videographer, audio, lighting, makeup, distribution. These are all things you're going to want to consider. And based on your budget, you may be able to use all of them, some of them, but it's good to know in the beginning what you have to work with. Right around here, you're going to want to start to lock those down. Know who you're going to work with, what their limitations are, etc. You're also going to not want to just throw any old person up on screen. You're going to want someone who's good on camera, who will get your point across in an effective and succinct way. You'll want to lock down your location, maybe definitely go there beforehand and make sure that, say, the lighting's proper, you have all the right licenses you need to film there, and no one's going to get mad when you show up with this whole crew and great plan. And just to make sure that when you get there day of, you can start going with no problems. Then you'll want to figure out your equipment. So your camera, your audio, your lighting, green screens, if that's something you want to work with, and also your catering. I cannot stress how much that a happy crew is an effective crew, including yourself. So it's not something that maybe you want to take care of, but definitely something you want to consider and make sure someone has the reins on. And finally, just before you get out onto set, realize what your team capabilities are, their strengths, their weaknesses, and be prepared to work with any of those. So at this point, you should have a team in play to help you carry out your mission and fire away and shoot your movie magic. Now, I skipped the whole fun part of actually shooting it, but at this point, you should have a video. So watch it, review the video, make sure it hits all the points that you want it to. Refer back to that original list of goals that we made in the beginning. Make sure it touches upon all of them. It's normal to go back and forth between editors a few times to get your exact effect. And if you've got an exact idea of what you want, then this shouldn't be too complicated of a process. It should just be some tweaks here and there. Why is that worth it? Is, well, you could be putting out the wrong message if it's not exactly what you want, and then it's a waste of your time and effort. And in the worst case scenario, it could actually make you look bad if the quality of the video isn't up to par, or if the message isn't in line with your company views. So it's a little bit of time invested just to make sure that you hit all the way home. Now, this is a video I mentioned before. It's a Dollar Shave Club pitch video that they put out when they started. They put it out one day, within 48 hours, had 12,000 subscribers, but it wasn't as simple as that. So I'll talk a little bit about what they did after. I'll show you a quick example of it if you haven't seen it already.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler can use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. A Dieter and 10 blades? Looking good.
All right, I'll put the full link at the end, but the reason this video works so much is because it was simple, straight to the point, effective. But what was surprising about it is that they worked with the small budget they had. They only had about a $4,000 budget. A video to that degree could spend up to $50,000 at certain points, but they did their planning properly and they knew what they had to work with. They pulled together a great team and were able to pull together one of the most successful launch videos that is out there right now. So the point being is, if you've got the right crew and you do the right preparation, creativity is going to trump the budget. But it is something we have to consider beforehand. All right, so you've got a perfect video, it's awesome. Now what? You could have the best video in the world, and if you don't have the proper plan for distribution and launch, no one's gonna see it. And that's a really sad day. So now's the time to begin that distribution plan that you crafted in your planning stage. It's time to kick that into high gear. And since today's main focus is on the video production, I won't go into it too far, but there's a lot of great resources out there, and I'm happy to talk about it after on an individual basis if you want to reach out to me. But I do need to stress how important this stuff is. You could, like I said, have the greatest video, but if it's not put out there effectively, it's just not going to reach the masses and then have the effect that you want it to. So use your network, do your research, and learn how to properly distribute and market whatever video that you're working with. Make sure that it's engaging with customers, and you don't just want to shove something in their face. You want to learn how to properly present it. So, like I said, if you want to learn a little bit more about that, that's a whole other process, and I'm happy to talk about it afterwards. From here, how do you know if you actually succeeded? This is why we set a hard and fast goal early on. Did you increase team recruitment by 15%, drive sales by 25%, sell out your event tickets? Basically, how to figure this out is revisit those original goals and just compare the hard and fast results. At this point, it should be a yes or a no. And from here, you might want to take note of what worked and why, because at this point you can use those details later for other videos, other content, and hopefully make those even more successful. So to recap, the do's and don'ts of video production for your business. Don't go quick and dirty. And by that I mean don't take the easy way out. Invest in your goals, plan ahead, invest time, money, whatever you've got, and do it right. You should get a proper return on investment. On the other hand, don't be unnecessarily extravagant. Recognize what you have to work with, focus on the end goal, work within your budget and parameters, and you should be getting optimal results. Finally, don't try to delegate the video production to unrelated creatives. Graphic designers great at graphics. You can bring them in to help on that aspect of the video, but they or the marketers, it's not necessarily their forte. So this is why you want to craft a team together, so you've got people who are particularly good at every little aspect. Find a professional whose work you love, and they'll be able to guide you in the right direction, and at the end of the day, they'll know exactly what they're doing, and they'll be loving it because that's their job. Every video project that I work on, I absolutely love, and I've got some more experience at it than, say, the marketing team that I work with, but they've got more experience in the distribution end, so it all works out in the end. So for you, what is your homework? I want you to choose an aspect of your business that could use some video love, and from there, go back to those important questions in step 1. Answer all of them, and then see where you can go from there. Talk to me. I'm happy to help you get to the next steps, or use this presentation to get there yourself. Other than that, I'm here for questions, and here's the links to the other videos I sent. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Gianna. That was awesome. If anybody has any questions, you can feel free to use the Q&A box to type them in. If not, we have a knowledge drop Slack channel, of course, where you can, or Jen will be, and then you can always throw in questions and feedback as well in there. This is also, we're recording all of our knowledge drops as well, so we'll be posting them in there also. But actually, I have a question for you. In terms of timeline, like what's like a reasonable timeline from starting this whole process to actually expecting a finished product?
So that's going to vary based on the video. The wrestling one that you saw took about, I'd say, a week and a half, because the event was so long. It was about 3 days, and then I needed time to actually process all that footage, which is something that is not considered all the time, just because it sounds like you're just kind of importing video files and then all of a sudden you can edit them. But file management is actually something that I take into consideration a lot, so that adds to the process. And then from there, it was a few days edit. So that was about a week, week and a half. Some videos you can get done in 3 days, 1 day plan, 1 day shoot, 1 or 2 day edit. And then some are going to take months. I do videos that cover content over a span of a year, and then at the end of the year you get a video. Standard, I'd say if I had to pick an average, a 2-minute video without anything super complicated like graphics or special effects would take me a day, day and a half to edit. So that's why in the beginning you want to plan out a production schedule. I'd say for a standard pitch video, you can expect to put maybe a full week's worth of work into it. However, a lot of the times you start planning way in advance, and just because the company and the videographer has a lot going on, and you want to block out a proper amount of time, and maybe you don't have 7 consecutive days. I don't know who has 7 consecutive days to work on a video. I don't even have that. But there are important things to consider. So I talk to a lot of the people a lot of the time wanting to get a video out the door right away. And I mean, it can be done, but that was the point of this presentation. It's important to take your time and do your research and planning to make sure that you get something quality at the end of the day.
Cool. Immaculate's question is, has a question. What's your advice for startups that would like to use video to get their product/idea out there?
I would say do your research first. Before you even come to a videographer or production company, while they can help you out in the process, I would say look for some examples of what you like. So even if you don't have, say, all of those beginning questions answered, you'll at least know what you're looking to do or what kind of style you like, you know, what either your personal or your company vibe is that you want to infuse into the video, because at the end of the day, that's how you're going to sell it. You're selling your company, you're selling the specific idea that you're putting out there. And if you don't know exactly what you're looking for, it's going to be hard to get started on anything else until you answer those questions. But usually the first thing I do when I start a new project is just start digging around for different videos, sometimes looking into photography or other creative things, watching movies, just to start pulling out those little personality traits and like, oh, it's really cool that they promoted this aspect of their business, you know, the human aspect in this way. It's really cool that they, you know, passed around the GoPro in the office and had everyone give their opinion on something and then distilled that into something really cool at the end of the day. All these different ideas, and then you can kind of bring that mishmash to the table, and a production company can then help you clean that up and turn it into something that looks really cool. So don't be afraid to come to the table with something new or something that's maybe not related to video.
Cool. We also have a question in the Q&A. How do you think about video editing to outsource or to edit yourself to keep a personal touch?
So if you've got experience with video editing, significant experience with it, I say go for it. That's what I do for my company. However, I could say that there are still instances where I want to outsource it, or a couple years ago when I maybe wasn't as proficient at it as I am now. Video is half of the finished product for me. Something I've heard and that I agree with is that you make a movie twice. Once when you're filming it and again when you're editing it. There's so much that can be done in the edit process that you might not realize, unless you're a video editor, that I think it's worth it to at least work with one and see what the difference would be. That's where I was talking about where it's worth it to kind of drop that time and money into someone whose job it is, or at least who has significant experience in the process, so that you can really dig deep, really get something clean that you just might not have had the opportunity to do before. In terms of the personal touch, it's a really good point. That's when you want to do your research and find the right person for you, so that the right video editor will work with you and do those feedback sessions, like I said, so that you can say, oh, you know, that's not really me. You know, I really think this would be a good touch, kind of like how a director works with a film editor. And that's why you want to do your research beforehand, so you can kind of get a feel for their work as well. Because if you just dive straight into it, you might get a video editor that's just got a completely different style than what you're looking for, and it's really hard for them to change that. So I do understand wanting to keep the personal touch. Just take the time to talk to a few people. And then if you've got the skills after doing all that research, you think you've got the skills to achieve the same thing yourself, then have at it. I think video editing is a blast. You just want to make sure you're getting the best product at the end of the day.
Awesome. So unless we have any other questions, I'm going to wrap it up here. But thank you guys all for tuning in. Stay tuned for another awesome knowledge drop in a couple of weeks for you guys. But for now, stay safe. Enjoy yourselves out there.
Thanks, guys.